Rosa Salazar is rallying hard for a sequel to Alita Battle Angel, but are you standing with her? While the movie jumps to #1 in the United Kingdom charts now that it's on Blu-ray, and Rosa Salazar continues interviews to support an Alita sequel, telling people that show Disney there's demand, buy those Blu-rays. Come on, Alita fans, we can do this. This gets picked up by a ton of different websites, including some that were never fans of Alita to begin with. In this video, we'll give you the full details of what she said, try to get a sense of the Blu-ray numbers as best we can, and talk about the importance of all these websites suddenly talking about Alita, because I do think this could indicate action behind the scenes. And we have a little bit of fun with Alita.
Whose body is this? Who am I? Who has the power to do that? What happened? What's that? Hey, what are those things? What is that?
The doctor is in. What's up, guys? Doc Ito here with an Alita update. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of Doc Ito's free repairs. And remember to sign the sequel petition, which is almost at 57,000 signatures and rising steadily. As Rosa says, buy those Blu-rays, baby.
Hi, Alita Army. What's up, guys? Buy those Blu-rays, baby!
Love it. The petition and Blu-ray links are below. At Amazon, currently, Alita is #3 and #4, which isn't too bad. The only movies above it are a couple of collections. So for standalone movie, it's still the best one from a sales standpoint. And the Mirror reports that in the UK, Alita has knocked Captain Marvel from the top spot last week, leading a 3-week climb to the top of the box office, with Captain Marvel now second place. This is the first week that Alita was actually out on Blu-ray. Previously, it was just on digital that it jumped up to, I believe, #3 from what I remember. But having it pop to #1 is excellent, and I would anticipate the same thing to be here in the US. By itself, this isn't a remarkable accomplishment because movies pretty much always go to #1 when they come out. Now, we're not going to get the official numbers, or at least an estimate of the official numbers, for quite some time. The Numbers is a fantastic website, but June 23rd is the latest data they have, so we're probably going to be waiting a month until we get the actual weekly results. And they do use an estimate and adjust it as time goes on, but it's a great repository, and we'll be analyzing the heck out of these numbers once they actually are released. For now, we use what data we can. On Media Play News, they note that from a Redbox standpoint, top DVD and Blu-ray discs were Shazam and Alita. Now, of course, this was the week ending July 28th, so that only is a partial week where Alita was actually available, which could be why Shazam is still #1, since it had an extra weekend. On digital, Alita was #1. Again, this was on Redbox On Demand. On the Washington Post, Alita is #3 in iTunes, with Shazam and Detective Pikachu jumping above it. Still, it's performing quite well and bringing in revenue now, a few weeks into its run. So we are heeding the call of Rosa Salazar to buy those Blu-rays. And she sat down with Slash Film for an exclusive interview, which actually kind of got picked up by a lot of different press. So let's go through this original interview and then talk about the importance of it. Slash Film says that Alita was a long-awaited project for James Cameron. He ended up working with Robert Rodriguez, and while it wasn't an Avatar or Terminator success, it, quote, hung in there at the box office. They sat down with Rosa to talk to her at the Television Critics Association reception, and they say, should there be a sequel, Salazar is on board. At only 34, she doesn't set a time limit on when it would get done. I would play Alita till my last breath. I would, and thanks to performance capture technology, I probably could. And we know they could do this, as we've seen in Captain Marvel. The technology they used to make young Samuel L. Jackson was just incredible. So they absolutely could take Rosa Salazar and put her into Alita's body whenever. Now, of course, there might be some limitations with motion capture if she's doing stunts, but we've seen Tom Cruise, who is essentially ageless, doing crazy stunts at pretty much 60 years of age. More power to you, Tom. That said, Rosa said she has not heard anything about a second Alita. She encourages fans to show the studio they want to see more. If the box office wasn't quite enough, there are still ways to show support. Not yet, but buy those Blu-rays, Salazar said, adding out of loyalty to her new show on Amazon. But no, I haven't heard anything yet. Salazar was having fun with her answer, but she's right. Alita is right at the range where home video will show the studio whether there's life in the franchise. So this is critical, and this is what we've been saying all along, and this is what Alita Army has been doing on Twitter, YouTube, and everywhere else, figuring that we could bring the Blu-ray sales up and potentially get a sequel this way. and now we're seeing Slash Film and Rosa herself talking about this. Now, this is similar to what we've been saying in our latest video. And the fact that Rosa is saying this is significant because she's not going off and making things up on her own. Whenever people in the movie industry, especially when they're still marketing a movie around the time it's coming out in theaters or it's coming out on Blu-ray, when they talk about the movie, they have certain talking points, they have certain things they're allowed to say and they're not allowed to say. For her to be talking straight up, honest about the sequel and about how fans could get it to happen means that we are not off base. It means that this is exactly the way we can get our sequel to occur. And beyond buying the Blu-rays ourselves, we should be encouraging friends, family members to see the movie, to rent it, to get Blu-rays on their own, because this is now the time to grow the fan base, because we can do this. And we've seen numerous reports of people on Twitter, and of course in our private lives, we've talked to people to get them to watch Alita. Now that it's out on streaming, it's out on rental, now is the time to do it, because we do not stand by in the presence of evil. The article then talks about how 20th Century Fox and Disney merged, and while Disney owns Marvel, X-Men, and so on, Alita could be very lucrative for them, but it's too soon to tell. Rosa says, yeah, I mean, they had a crazy merger. People are gaining jobs, people are losing jobs, the whole Disney-Fox acquisition is so involved. This is not the right time for me to call Alan Horn and be like, hey bro, I know you got a lot of stuff going on, but like, what about Alita 2? Which is awesome, I could totally see Rosa doing that. When she does call Alan Horn, we hope she does address him with, hey bro. And for those who don't know, Alan Horn is Chief Creative Officer and Co-Chairman of Walt Disney Studios, and he served as chairman since 2012. So I definitely hope Rosa has Alan Horn's number on speed dial, and she does call him, hey bro. Rosa then talked about a little bit about her new series Undone, saying what I'm really excited about right now in my own career is this new thing I've tapped into where I get to fully lose myself in a character because I'm animated. It's live action, but because it's animated, my body is left behind and exists in another dimension. These characters, Alita and Alma, are almost their own people because they are in their own dimension. I get to completely transform, not with prosthetics, makeup, or hair, wardrobe, but through this other animation process. So I saw this article and I thought it was great. Interestingly though, it got picked up like crazy. Here it is on Flickering Myth. Rosa wants to play Alita, talking about Alita 2. I'm not going to read all of these articles to you because they're very similar, and they're going to be the same quotes. Bounding Into Comics covered it, of course. Dark Horizons, Bloody Disgusting, ComingSoon.net, Cinema Blend also talks about it and mentions Us, how fans are very vocal on social media about wanting a sequel. Now, this is actually their quote from their own interview with Alita, which we covered on our prior video. And of course, if you haven't voted, let's vote on whether we want a sequel. And I wonder what the results are going to be. 99% for number 99. And pretty much no one said no way. So that is perfectly fitting. Yes, we want the sequel. Screen Rant, Alita Battle Angel wants to return for sequels. This is actually based on the Cinema Blend article, not the Slash Film one. But having numerous websites covering this with really big reach is very important because suddenly all of these websites are agreeing with pushing the film toward a sequel, such as Comic Book, covering the same article again from Slash Film, and IndieWire, with the best title of all, Rosa urges fans to show Disney there's demand for the sequel, buy those Blu-rays, including one of the old quotes we already covered, talking about Michelle Rodriguez, Jai Courtney, Ed Norton, and how important it is to see those characters to set up the sequel. So having all these websites supporting Alita and pushing for the sequel all of a sudden within a few days is really important. And surprisingly, even websites that have not supported Alita in the past have also jumped on board, talking about how some of the fandom may have been hijacked and politicized in the past, but beyond that, the movie is awesome and shouldn't relate to just one segment of the political spectrum. And while some people might not value this website much, as some of the discussions online have been a little divisive, I think there's a couple main points. One is that Alita Army being a positive fan base and not grabbing on to the toxic elements of the fan base and fighting for Alita without fighting against anything else has been helpful to bring new people to the movie, which will ultimately result in more sales, more eyes seeing the movie, and a greater chance of an Alita sequel happening. Also, when you see so many websites all of a sudden talking about a sequel, bringing it up in the public awareness, this is helping bring the narrative forward for an Alita sequel, and it's possibly a sign behind the scenes that they've had serious discussions about a sequel that are going well. So if Disney is heading down toward the path of a sequel, they can send their reporters out to drum up support for the movie on Blu-ray and see if the fans are going to respond in such a way that a sequel is going to be something they would be interested in actually doing. So it's very important for us to pull through and to continue to be positive. Now, in that previous article and another one from Screen Rant, they talk about the Alita Honest trailer, so definitely check that out if you haven't, as well as their discussion about Alita. It's actually pretty funny and didn't take any significant shots at Alita. So remember to watch the whole trailer, and let's take a quick look.
From a studio that didn't even make it through the 21st century comes Hollywood's best adaptation of a manga yet, which, to be fair, is a really low bar to clear. She's got a hidden mission. Cram a whole franchise worth of exposition into one short movie.
What's Final Champion? Does anyone ever go up to Zalem? What's outside the city? What holds it up? Why are there so many languages? Whose body is this?
So it's actually pretty great. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and sometimes they're very brutal, tearing apart movies, and they really didn't do that for Alita, which is excellent. It's got almost 1 million views in a day, so definitely good to have it covered, and people are definitely going to go and watch Alita on rental or other ways after seeing this Honest trailer, so make sure to check it out if you have not. And of course, continue to support Alita, because we do not stand by in the presence of evil. We'll keep you guys updated once the Blu-ray numbers come in, and you all have a great day. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Doc out.